Today we'll begin a new chapter, that is Vairagyabodha. Now this chapter describes the story of the young woman Savitri and the death of her sick husband, whom she brought all the way from her faraway home for Guru Nath's darshan with great hopes of recovery. Very good morning, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra exposition. I was asked to say it is not a Parayan, it is satsang or exposition on Shri Guru Charitra. Thank you for joining once again. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Guru Charitra exposition. Siddha Muni continued the narrative to Namdarak, describing the glorious account of the Leelas of Guru Nath. So yesterday we learnt a very beautiful chapter about what is the significance of Vibhuti, and Lord Shivji himself had given an explanation about it, which Narasimha Saraswati imparted that knowledge to Siddha Muni, and Siddha Muni in turn was narrating it to Namdarak, who is none other than Saraswati Gangadhar. And we learnt about why it is so important to have the faith and what does the Vibhuti signify. And one most important lesson that you need to understand is, I mentioned about what does Vibhuti represent. It represents renunciation. Why? Let me tell you. When our body, now we are talking about this Bhasma Mahima. Now if you look at, if you study the Sai Baba's Poti, in that Baba himself used to offer the sacred ash, and you've learnt about the different miracles that has happened. When you drink Baba's Udi, whatever the sickness, whatever the ailments that you had disappeared, and other people had. And there are so many different stories how the power of the Udi has been very beautifully narrated in the Sai Satcharitra book of Baba. Now coming back, what does this Udi mean? What was Baba used to burn? In the Dhuni, which is even today is being burnt, they burn the woods and the twigs of the tree, and then that becomes into a sacred ash. Similarly, the body, our body, when we die, when it is burned, it's reduced to ashes, and that is about the pure sattva. And when, if you take in Banaras, Varanasi, that is in Kashi, they are all these ascetics. And what do? Is they smear their body with the sacred ash, the ash from the dead bodies. And then what do they attain? They attain Vairagya, and they also attain renunciation. They give up the material worldly attachments. So everybody's path is different. And if you take Shivji, Shiva is the highest of an ascetic, Lord Shiva, and he follows this path. So if you take all the Naga Babas, and even today if you go to Banaras, that is Kashi, Gaya, Prayag, you'll find all these Naga Babas completely smeared with ash. The ash from the remnants of the burnt dead body. Can you do that? I'm not saying you have to follow. See, everybody follows a different path. And this path is followed by the ardent devotees of Shivji. They are the Shaivites. Not necessarily all Shaivites. Shaivites also can just smear we were talking about the Tripundra, right? The Tripundra Vibhuti Dharana we studied yesterday. And where you just can smear that sacred ash in like this, with the three fingers in the Tripundra form. And then you can, go towards that path and attain devotion to Lord Shiva. So and also attain renunciation. But if you're going to become completely an ascetic, Lord Shivji himself is the greatest of the ascetic. And if you look at Shivji, he is always smeared with the bhasma. He's, Jadhadari, one who follows that path. So in the north, especially in Banaras, they follow this path where they smear their entire body with the ash, which is burned from these, which is the remnants of the dead body. But honestly, that is not everybody's path, and everybody cannot do that. So the path which Lord Sri Krishna prescribes and every other scripture prescribes is the path, especially in the Kali Yuga, the path of bhakti, which is love and devotion alone to the divine. And in that, there is nothing to renunciate. Renunciation should be done in the mind. It is not a physical renunciation that you give up, you don't live, or you don't eat food, you should not take care of your family. There's nothing like that. My Krishna Guruji very beautifully teaches, and he himself lives that life of renunciate. He's an avaduta who's ever free. How does he live that? He's completely detached, he's dispassionate, and he can discriminate. And most important, you need to renunciate. It's not about having attachment or having ownership to any object. In fact, my Guruji doesn't have any money. I keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. But just so that you understand what it means to live a life of Lord Sri Krishna, which is, given in a reference to lotus leaf. The water on the lotus leaf is untouched, and yet the lotus shines beautifully, living amidst of all the muck, which means we living in this material world, though there are a lot of things that will pull us, it's Maya, which is going to entangle us, yet we have to live in a detached manner and shine, and just doing our dharma, following the path of dharma and doing our swadharma, both. And most important is to attain our spiritual being through this human birth. That is what my Krishna Guruji teaches. So here, the aspect of the vibhuti represents also the renunciation. And most important, that you need to understand, why is the sacred ash given so much of significance? When you burn something, all that, whatever that you have, this body is burning. What remains after it burns is the pure sattva. Similarly, see, when you eat the food, in your stomach, your food is, getting churned, and then what does come out? All the proteins, vitamins, the sattva. The sattva is what is being then transferred to all the different parts of your body so that you can function well. And the remaining of it is thrown out. So likewise, when this body burns away, what comes is the pure, that sacred hash as the good, the pure properties, and that when you apply, you attain that wheel. It helps you in renouncing or going on certain path, which is going to be helpful for you to overcome the aspects of material worldly existence, like likes, dislikes. Yesterday we also did what are the 6 inner enemies that we need to overcome, the shadrikus. So many different things. How do you then conquer your senses? All those things can be attained. So that's a quick recap. Now let us start today's chapter and see what is the story all about. Siddha Muni continued the narrative to Namdarak, describing the glorious account of the Leelas of Guru Nath. Guru Nath's name and fame was increasing day by day, and it started spreading over the whole country. People from all regions, even from the farthest parts of India, started visiting Gangapur for Guru Nath's darshan and for seeking his blessings. Whoever came went back with their hearts filled with great satisfaction and a sense of fulfillment in life, and with peace and joy. Everyone returned with a deep conviction that Guru Nath, though physically staying at Gangapur, is ever with them, wherever they be living, and is ever providing his protection. Without his call, none can ever think of going to Gangapur for his darshan, and without his will, none will be able to visit the place and have audience with him. Okay, this is a very, very powerful lesson and something that is being said here. And now let me explain to you what this means. Everyone returned with a deep conviction that Guru Nath, though physically staying at Gangapur, is ever with them. Without his call, none can ever think of going to Gangapur for his darshan, and without his will, none will be able to visit the place and have the audience with him. See, one of the most important things you need to understand is The Guru is a Tattva. I'm again repeating this so that, see, it's very difficult for the human mind to understand. So I kind of repeat the same lesson over and over and over again. That is what we have to do, because even Guru Nath is teaching the same thing here. The Guru is a Tattva. He's an essence. He just manifests in a body so that he can teach. Put those spiritual seekers, the disciples and devotees, on the path of spirituality and establish spiritual regeneration, and most important, help everybody walk the path of dharma. That is what the Gurus come here to do. And most important, instill the faith back in the divine again. Because it's very easy to lose faith, but it is very difficult to establish that faith. You need to understand this. So these divine beings manifest over and over and over again for time immemorial. They keep manifesting till this whole yuga comes to an end again. Then the Parayan happens, then again we go back in the same circle. Then again the first yuga, then the second yuga, then the third yuga, and then the destruction happens. That's exactly how this whole universe is programmed. Now coming back, here what is it saying? I'll give you a very beautiful example. Just before the satsang, I was reading a very lovely message. This is from one of the disciples of my Krishna Guruji. So in that, she mentioned, in one of my satsang, I had mentioned about how my Krishna Guruji likes this Lord Shri Krishna in ISKCON temple. They are offered the dry fruit samosa. It's what Lord Shri Krishna likes. It's actually very delicious, to be very honest. So my Krishna Guruji always loves, getting that samosa, and he will cherish it and he eats that. It's also, prasad, which is offered to Lord Radha Krishna in ISKCON temple. Now, I had mentioned about this in one of my satsangs when we were doing Charitra Parayan. And yesterday, it so happened that my Guruji's disciple she tried to make this dry fruit samosa, and she offered as a naivedya to my Krishna Guruji and Baba. She keeps my Krishna Guruji's photo and she worships him. So she offered to the Gurus. She made this naivedya and she offered. And she somewhere said, please, come and accept it. And at that time, what happened? It seems she had some maintenance plan, and one of the electrician was supposed to come on March 9th. And suddenly, out of the blue, from nowhere, he happened to turn up yesterday itself without even any prior intimation or informing them. And her conviction was, since she is also an ardent devotee of Shirdi Sai Baba, and she understands this stories where Baba says, if I'm coming, he says, I'll come with two boys, or I'm going to come in some form. He's going to come in some form. That understanding she's got. And suddenly when this electrician turned up, she believed that it is my Guruji who has come and accepted the offering. So he's come to accept. So immediately she offered the prasad, that naivedya what was offered, she offered the prasad to this electrician. So she felt extremely pleased that she said, I know this is Guruji who has come and accepted this. That is called faith. So definitely imagine the electrician who was supposed to come on night suddenly happens to come without even a prior notice. So what does that mean? That's faith. Can you experience divinity in this manner? You can be anywhere in the world. That is exactly what Guru Nath is teaching here. Though physically staying at Gangapur, is ever with them, wherever they be living, and is ever providing his protection on them. This is the truth. So it is also your faith. When you have this faith, definitely the divine Lord Almighty can come in any form. But do you have the grace to know that that is who it is? But that is where at that moment you cannot look at the electrician as an electrician. You should understand, yes, he has come. Yes, my Gurudev has come. I need to offer. And he accepted that prasad, that which she very lovingly made. Whatever that she put effort in offering to her gurus, to her God, to her Ishta, and he accepted graciously and went. This is the true meaning of your bhakti. You don't need to have anything else. When you have this kind of faith and devotion, then everything is possible. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be in America, you can be in London, you can be anywhere. So she is in London, she is in UK. And then imagine, that's her faith. Can you imagine some from nowhere? And then of course she offered him. God can manifest in anybody, but do you have the grace to recognize when he appears? This is the most important lesson that you need to understand. Have that faith. You can experience Him anywhere in the world. He is everywhere because He is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. He is that Nirgun Brahma. He is in nothing. He is in everything too. He is in the nothingness. In fact, this is the most beautiful teaching which my Krishna Guruji is imparting through Bhagavad Gita. You must join his Bhagavad Gita satsangs and listen to what Sri Krishna is teaching. It is very difficult for our human mind to understand. How do you recognize the divinity? Divinity is not the forms which you think has been described in ancient times. See, those forms were there at that moment in time. Now you cannot get that form. Today, what form can he come? He is going to manifest in this human body, this human birth, and then he's going to manifest in anything. He can come in a form of an ant, he can come in the form of a dog, like Sai Baba, when this old lady fed the dog and then she takes the offering to the Baba, he said, you already fed me, I'm already satiated. What does this examples teach us? Why are these leelas performed? Because for us to understand that they are all pervading. There's no place in this universe where they don't exist at the same time. But it is our human mind's limitations where we believe that they are the body. This is the misconception that we need to overcome. You cannot think the Guru is just a body. The Guru is a tattva. It's an essence and a principle. He is there everywhere. This is the Param Satya, which is what you need to understand. And it was very pleasing, literally tears in my eyes, when she sent that picture of her offering her Naivedya and giving me this background. It was very sweet. This talks about her faith, her bhakti. See, you can be wherever you want, but you can experience Him with you. But do you have the power of your bhakti? Your bhakti should be in such manner where the God will just manifest for you right there. But that is the love that you have to show. You don't have to renunciate. You don't have to follow. You don't have to become a Naga Baba. See, everybody is perfect in their path. See, everybody has certain path that they choose. But we are not meant for that path. The one thing that in Krishna Ashram we propagate is Bhakti Marg, love and devotion alone. How do you attain your spiritual being while doing all your swadharma and yet being detached from everything and attaining love and devotion to the divine? So how we are also taught how to do nishkama karma, which means selfless service, selfless action where there is no karma involving in it. This is what the Gurus impart. And most important, what is he training me today? My Guruji is training me into doing my swadharma. There is some swadharma for which I have manifested in this human body and I have to perform that swadharma, and my Guruji is training me. Today I am undergoing that training. Whatever that I am chosen for, it is important. See, this body is mere an instrument. We are only the puppet in the hands of the divine Lord Almighty. You are nothing but a tool, you are instrument, you are the clay. He molds you the way He wants you to be in this world and do His job. You are also come here to serve His purpose. And that purpose is something that you will not know immediately, but slowly it will be unraveled to you when the time is right with His own will. So this is what is extremely important. And what does Bhagavad Gita teach all about? It is talking about how to be dispassionate, how to do and also do things dispassionately. And the second most important thing, how to have detachment. Detachment means from everything, from everything that you think you attach or everything that you think you own. Detachment even from this body. Detachment from your, this body, parents, relatives, friends, the world, objects, everything. And most important, discrimination, to understanding that I am not this body and I am the divine being. And also the discrimination stands two more most important lessons, which is to discriminate the real from the unreal. Understanding everything that is created in this material world is unreal. It's Maya. It is Lord's Maya. Please remember that. His power potency is very strong. That is why we say it is the Lord's Maya. And that Maya can never be overcome without the grace of the Guru and the Lord Himself. And the Guru is none other than the divine Lord Almighty. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. The Parabrahma's grace has to be for us to overcome the Maya. And only when His grace dawns, that we will be able to overcome the delusion. And the next most important thing is to see God in everybody. Because yesterday Lord Shri Krishna says, I am that Nirgun Brahma and Sagun Brahma. which is formless and form. Both is Him alone. And how do you recognize Him? How do you understand Him? And one of the most important, the criteria for you to understand or just to realize or experience this Lord Shri Krishna, this God, the G-O-D, the capital G-O-D, is through pure sattva alone. What does sattva mean? That is, you have to have absolute goodness, complete, that purity within your heart, with being your good self, pure love. Only in that highest of the purity, that is your goodness of heart, with your love, the power of your love, can you experience this divine Lord Almighty through this physical body. But till you are not that pure being, you cannot realize Him or even experience Him. Why? Because you have to first conquer your senses, and you have to overcome your 6 inner enemies, the Shadripus, which we did yesterday. Let me recount it once again for you. And that is, what are the 6 Shadripus? Let me give it to you, which is, here it is. What are the 6 inner enemies? That is likes, dislikes, greed, delusion, ego and pride, envy and jealousy. You need to overcome all of this. Even if you overcome, it's not about overcoming one. You have to overcome all the 6 Shadripus, which is detrimental for you from this God realization. If you cannot overcome, then forget. You can never experience Divine Lord Almighty. That is the truth. To experience Him, you have to become that pure being. That is why it is said I forgot, sorry for my, I'm not able to get the name of this sage. I think it's Nityanand Maharaj. And in his scripture, in his beautiful story book of the life of Nityanand Maharaj, in that one of the most profound lessons is how the purification of the heart has to happen, the purification of the mind has to happen. Only then the surrender unto the lotus feet of the Guru can happen. And this is a long drawn process. The entire book summarizes in that one explanation that he has given why it is so important to go through this purifying process itself and what the Guru does. And this is something you need to understand. See, remember, people come to meet a Guru, or people come to meet the Divine Masters thinking that they want something. They're going to see some miracles, they're going to experience something, some magic that's going to happen, and the Guru is going to perform something by which all their problems will be vanished. And they will get all the material worldly riches or whatever that desires are, that will be fulfilled. See, this is the way our petty mind thinks, and we are driven by our own lust and greed. So the reason to meet the Divine Master is this. But is that what the truth is? Of course not. The truth about meeting the Divine Master is something much different. And please remember, without His own grace and without Him, calling you, you cannot even enter that place. That is exactly what is mentioned. So let us understand the next part of it. What is he saying here? Without His call, none can ever think of going to Gangapur at all. See, without the divine call, you cannot visit any of this divine, the holy places, which is a representation of their existence. Even today they exist there, but of course, because people have gone and made it so unholy, it's very sad that you can't experience. But of course, yes, when you go there, you can meet the divine being through the power of your bhakti. When you seek Him, He will give you that grace to, see Him somewhere in very just a few glimpses, in a very subtle form. You still can experience them. But the truth is that everything has become unholy and people have made it very commercial. They're using the same spirituality to make money. But that is not what spirituality is for, right? And the word spirituality is absolutely abused and misunderstood and misconstrued by people and they use it in the whatever manner just for their own personal benefit. They don't really understand the truth. Nobody wants to learn today. This is the age we have entered and we can't do anything because this is Kali Yuga and everything is fast hurtling towards the destruction. So here you need to understand, without His call, whose call? The Divine Lord Almighty's call, none can ever think of going to Gangapur for His darshan. You can't even think of going to some of these places, the holy places, for the darshan. And without His will, none will be able to visit the place and have the audience with him. Without his will, nobody will be able to visit him and have an audience with him. So please remember, whenever somebody comes to meet my Krishna Guruji, I just understand this much, that it is my Guruji's grace and the will that they have come to meet him. There is nothing beyond that. If that grace and the will is not there, nobody can even enter or come to visit Krishna ashram or and be around him. It is not so simple. People think it's very easy to meet him or be with him. It is not they who come here, it is he who grants that grace, and it is his will alone that he brings them to meet with him. This is the truth which everyone has to understand. And wherever we visit, even the holy places, suddenly after the blue, a month back in Jan, when my Krishna Guruji said we have to visit this Manik Prabhu, I've never even heard about Manik Prabhu until that moment in time. Probably my Guruji has mentioned in some of his satsangs, maybe, but it has never, it has never hit me hard. Then when I learned about who Manik Prabhu was, I was amazed. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. We're going to this most holiest place, and of all, the most beautiful place, which is where this Guru Charitra got written. I'm extremely sorry, I've been a little delay in writing the story about Kadganji, where Guru Charitra was written, where Namdara received this, the narration from Siddha Muni, this place we visited, and I will soon be writing about it and giving you my own experience of what happened when I visited with my Krishna Guruji over there. So this is the truth about life. So till that grace is not there, you cannot even think that place, that the knowledge is also not going to come to you. But when you have the will of the divine and his call, then only you can go there, not otherwise. Please remember, this is the truth. So don't think somebody brought you here, somebody sent you here. We always think that we give credit to the person who has, introduced you to the divine master, or he's the one who has, through somewhere you have found him and some medium is used, and then you give credit to the medium. Please remember, the medium through whom you have come or met the divine master, they are only a tool of the divine Lord Almighty. He just used that instrument so that you can come to him. So what makes you think that you are pandering to somebody else's ego? So don't, you have to thank them, because it's definitely, they have been a Zariya. Zariya means a path. They have been the way for you to get to the divine master. But please remember, it is the divine master's call and his will alone for you to come to him. So he uses anyone. Like example, I keep giving, one of my uncles is also the disciple of my Krishna Guruji. But I cannot say I brought my uncle to my Krishna Guruji. Of course not. I was just a tool. I am just a medium for him to meet my Guruji. My Guruji's call and will, he chooses the instrument. I was just an instrument in making, he used me to get to him, and he had to come to my Guruji. That is what is being said here. So we cannot say, oh, I brought you here. Because of me, I gave you the student. There are also people think that you have introduced someone to the Guruji and then you claim the ownership. That is also wrong. You cannot do something like that. And that is what being mentioned here. So without his call, none can ever think of going to Gandapur for his darshan, and without his will, none will be able to visit the place and have the audience with him. His love is like the love of 1,000 mothers. Oh my God, what is it described? His love is like the love of 1,000 mothers. What does that tell you? The mother, see, we give a lot of importance to the worldly mother. Why? Because, we say a mother cannot be replaced by anybody else, because she bears you, she has given birth to you, she goes through that painful journey of rising, giving birth, and then not just that, then bringing you up. So we give a mother a special position in our world. But please remember, that mother is still a material worldly mother, and still she is very selfish, because she can only love her child. She cannot love another child like her own child. That is not possible. Her mother says, it is my son. My son has to get married because I want to see my son getting married. It is her desire, it is her attachment to her son which drives her so much that she wants to do something. She wants to attain. Her desire needs to be fulfilled. But please remember, even that there is selfishness. Because it is her desire, it's her, my son has to get married. My son has to do this for me. My daughter has to do this for me because you are mine. I have given birth to you. They claim the ownership. They claim the right. And what? They will even blackmail you into saying, if you don't do this, I will commit suicide. I will die. These are kind of blackmail. But no, the real mother will not do anything like that. The material worldly mother is not even understanding the consequences of her action, what she is doing. Why they are blinded by the attachment that it is my son, I have given birth. That is what the material worldly mother does. So where is the question of even telling material worldly mother? You can't even compare her to the Guru Maa. What is they are saying? This Guru, is equivalent. His love, the Guru's love, is like the love of 1,000 mothers. Why it is just said 1,000 mothers? It is, you can't even say 1,000. It is much beyond that. He is an Athanga Sagar, a limitless ocean. Can you imagine the kind of love he pours? He confers on every child of his. See, only the Guru, the Krishna Ma, can love everyone in the same manner. His love is universal. His love is like the Athanga Sagar. It's so limitless. Even if you're a foe or a friend or whoever it is, he doesn't have any Bhed Bhav. Means that he doesn't make any differentiation among anybody. You come from a low caste, high caste, there's no class in his world. Okay? Yes. Okay, I can't say that as well because see, everybody has been given a certain position, but we think today, oh, the caste system shouldn't exist. Actually, we discussed about this in one of the earlier chapters where the Matanga, even Narasimha Saraswati explained why a Matanga or someone who's born through a Chandala from the Shudra class, they cannot become a Brahmin class and they cannot be accepted in that, in studying the Vedas and Shastras. This is the universal law and this is the universal rule. So nobody is here to say, oh, the caste system shouldn't exist. It is our stupidity because we don't know the truth about what this means. It is not the caste system the way we look at it. It is much beyond this because nobody has made an effort to go and study the Vedas or get that understanding from the divine master or the one who is qualified to give you that exposition, who is God himself. Because you have never met a guru like that in your life. So you have only been that learned pandits who has gone to some college and somewhere you have learned from the gurukuls and you are just chanting without even knowing what that means. This is the truth about life. And today though there is no Brahma, the Brahmins. Brahmins are the knowers of the truth. They are the custodians to protect the Vedas. But what are they doing? You go see any Brahmin. Today does any Brahmin exist? All this, like my Krishna Guruji will say, Shendi Wali Baba, I'm sorry. The priest, they have this, they have that, I don't know, the hair, long hair. And what do? They go and just chant. There's no devotion at all. They just do it as like a mundane thing. They just regurgitate that mantras. They just have by heart because that is who they are. They have that They have that ability, God-given ability, because they come from that class. And what do? They just chant without like a parrot. You keep rattling it, and then you just do that puja. It's like a job. Do they have bhakti? No, there is no devotion. There is no craving for God. They are more interested, oh, how much money is somebody putting? And you know what? You go to all these temples, if you give them the moment, you have to, my Krishna Guru just taught a very interesting method, how to, attract these people at least to give you that, do that aarti to the God. Aarti means, waving of that camphor light. So you have to keep like 500 rupees in your hand, and the moment they see the money, they'll go inside, they'll smile, big smile, and then they'll do that, and they want to give you some extra things. So God has become commercial. Where is the sincerity? Where is the truth about it? No, there is no truth behind it. And what is it? It's about, oh, I just have to do it. So are they doing the dharma or the swadharma? No, they are going to be born as some creatures in the next life. That is what they are doing. So everybody has a lineage. They have a swadharma, and that is, they are all perfect in their place. So this Guru Ma, this mother, the Guru, the greatest mother in this universe, this mother's compassion is beyond measures. The love is beyond measures. Yes, she, whoever this Guru is, doesn't discriminate between anyone. You need to understand the truth, and he loves everybody so much that, just coming in his presence, you can find that love. There is something which is so calming. You can't describe these things. You have to experience it because it is indescribable. The power of this divinity is indescribable. That is why they have just tried to say his love is like the love of 1,000 mothers. So imagine the kind of love. He is very compassionate. He is willing to suffer for everyone's karma. Yesterday I met some divine being, and her name is Devi Ma. She was telling me, you know what, people just come here and they have the audacity to say to me that, I envy your power. You have so much of power. I'm like, what? She said, this is the kind of people, the way they talk is so mean. They're so jealous. They're so much, they're telling me on my face that I envy, I'm jealous of the power you hold. She says, what power do I hold? I've committed my life to being divine. I've committed my life to the service of the Lord Almighty, because that is the transformation that I went under, and I was revealed who I am. And my Gurudev put me on this path, and I'm just following that path. And her life, she herself has gone through hell. By the time she could have gone, because her own relatives betrayed her, they won't through it. You know what? She was beaten black and blue just because she narrated her experience to her grandfather, and her grandfather was telling, how could you get that experience when I am already there? I know, how can you get it? Can you imagine? This is the way people react. What kind of a mean and greedy people are there? How much of jealous and envy they have? They desire they should get that power. Does anybody ask for it? I never even knew that I will ever be in the world of spiritual until I met my Guruji. I had no freaking idea. Sorry for my language. Absolutely no idea, a clue. Even in my wildest dream, I never imagined. But my life transformed. My path changed when the time was right. When the call came, and when it was His will that He found me. He made me come to Him. It was not me who went to Him. He called me, His grace. And my Guruji has said, at the right time you will come to me. And only then I could recognize Him as my Guru. I accepted Him. Because that is what it's called, the perfect timing, the will of the divine. At God's appointed time, not when you and I want it. It doesn't work like that. And this is the truth. So this mother was telling me yesterday, people come and just sit and ask, and I was just observing. There's some man who had come to her. He's constantly irritating her, asking the same thing over and over and over again. She said, yeah, you go do this, you go do that. But he's like, I wish this happens, I wish this happens. Hey, listen, what is going to happen is based on your prarabdha karma. You think by going and troubling some divine being for granting you some things out of turn, that's mean your life is going to change? See, we all have to accept our prarabdha karma. This is something we don't understand, and exactly what yesterday's chapter, not yesterday's, day before's chapter, where Guru Nath has explained how this, the Brahma Rakshasa was narrating, not even yesterday's chapter, how he had some 25 births, in which not a single birth was of a human being. Why? Because of his karmas. Why are you forgetting of who you are? You know what? Okay, there's a next chapter which will come about. In that, I will give you this understanding. What does the Guru do? But I'm not going to talk about the story. I'm not going to deviate from the point. The point that I'm trying to make here is, see, whatever you have to go through, you will have to go through. There is nothing that they can do, the divine beings. They are only here to give you that spiritual wheel so that you don't get into further karmas, committing further sins. They are giving you an opportunity to redeem yourself. Instead, what is that we sit and do? We ask, with a big begging bowl, we go and trouble and harass. Please take my karma, please remove this, please remove that. I hope my job is safe, hope this is safe. Yeah, this is what we keep doing. But what are you doing yourself? Are you even putting some effort? When the divine Lord Almighty is with you, why are you worried? Please remember, He is the one who's given you the job, He's given you the life. There's nothing to, be afraid. There's nothing to fear. Baba says, why fear when I'm here? When you have surrendered to the divine Lord Almighty, there is nothing to fear at all. Have that Shraddha and Saburi. Have that faith and patience. Magic will happen. Everything is happening for a certain reason. Everything happens for the good alone. This is the understanding that you need to have. And revere this mother. You have the opportunity to be with this greatest mother on this planet Earth. Revere her. Keep, obey her command. Keep her, like my Guruji says, Sara Khope. Like when my Gurudev, gives him a command, he obeys it, even though he says, I didn't want to do some of these things, but I am doing because I respect and revere my Gurudev. Even though there is no difference between Lord Dattatreya and my Guruji, they both are one and the same. Yet you respect your Guru always, because it's only through the grace of the Guru we evolve. The Guru has to be revered. You have to give him his highest position. There is nobody who can replace him ever in your life. He is the greatest mother. Please remember. What happens when you think that, okay, your life is something the Guru saved. I'll tell you my own example. I know certain people in life. My Gurudev has helped them, led them overcome some of their problems. And today what happens? After that they have been healthy, then they will start demanding things, not realizing because of whom you have been granted that life, who has been kind enough to give you that life. And they think that, oh, I want to see my son like this, I want to see my daughters like this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Where is all this coming from? You wouldn't even have existed if the Guru's blessing is not there. You know, dead and gone long past. And what makes you think today you can demand? Just because somebody's grace, and you don't even know that it is the grace that has saved them. This is the truth that happens in this world. But yet the Guru understands they are all, ignorant being. So he is very compassionate. That is why he is referred to as his love is like the love of 1,000 mothers. And this is exactly what my Krishna Guruji asks. We are fulfilling the promises given to this body's parents, but the mother who has given herself to save us, what is that we are going to give her back? What promise are you going to give her? What is it you're going to do for her? You want to get everything from her, so what are you doing for her? Please ask this question yourself. The day you get initiated, you become part of that Guru's family, Vasudev Kutumbam. You become the child, the Guru Putra or Guru Putri. Then what are you doing? Do you care about that Guru? He is your father, mother, everything. Are you earning and giving him? Are you even doing something for him? People don't even ask, Guruji, how are you? What can we do for you? Yesterday, this is exactly what Devi Amma was saying. Nobody cares about us. They think we have all the power and there's nothing wrong with us. But what we go through, nobody can understand that. There's not even a single person who will ask my Guruji, how are you? What can we do to you? Can we take care? No, that is never asked. In their mouth, that word also will not come. This is what in Kali Yuga this has become. But this mother, even though she understands the nature of her children and this universe, yet she will love them unconditionally. The word here is the Guru's love is unconditional. The Guru doesn't have any conditions when he loves. But we human beings are very petty and peevish. We have all conditions and we cannot even touch that Guru. But today we have to live the words that the Guru is teaching us. And one of his nature is this. This is what the Charitra of the Guru is, the real master, but divine master, not this fake gurus in this world who have conglomerates and have Vesh Bhushan and all that, wearing some glamorous clothes and trying to sit and talk nonsensical and going and dancing on a stage with some movie stars and all. We are not into that. Those are not the kind of gurus I'm talking about. I'm talking about the divine masters, the Parabrahma himself, who has manifested on this planet Earth. Such is the Guru I am talking about here. So whoever visits there will have all his aspirations fulfilled and his grievances redressed, although he might put these people to much test during the process. Oh my God, how beautiful and powerful. What does the Guru do? He's saying whoever visits there, visits where the Guru is there, okay, there will have all his aspirations fulfilled. When you visit the divine master, you know what? He fulfills all your aspirations. But most important criteria that you need to know, it is not at your timing, it is at the divine master's timing. It is at God's appointed timing. Those aspirations will be fulfilled, not when you want it. This is the truth you need to understand. People think, I need things to happen now. I need it everything now. It is not when you want it. What do you think? What have you given to your Guru that you think you deserve everything? Have you even given him anything? Have you served him? You are serving this body's parents. No, you are sending money, you are taking care. What about the Guru? Who's serving, who's bearing out for you? Have you done anything for him? Ask this question. This is the truth you need to ask. And you have the face to come and say and open up your big mouth and ask more. And you know what? Whether you give him or not, he doesn't care about you. Please remember, in Baba's Poti, we have done this lesson n number of times. Baba has narrated different stories through which he has imparted this lesson. You know what? The Guru is such a great one. He's that Athanga Sagar who doesn't care for your pennies. Please remember, the only reason why the Guru asks or takes sometimes from you is to absolve you of your karmas. When the Guru accepts anything from you, he is taking your karmas on him. This is the Param truth, the Param Satya you need to understand. The Guru doesn't want your money. All he cares about, you know what? Your love. Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has said, when you offer with that absolute faith and heartfelt love, with your true devotion, even a leaf of tulsi, I will accept it. That is all I want. But I don't need anything more than that. You know, there was a very beautiful story which Lord Shri Krishna, through his Leela with Satyabhama, he explained what this means. You know, Satyabhama has always been shown in a bad light. That is not how you have to interpret. She is the only one who cared about Lord Shri Krishna. She went with him. She did everything for him. You know, the stories can be interpreted to your own convenience, however you want. But you know what he taught in that lesson of Tulabharan? Two things. Satyabhama wanted to give, she had prayed that she wants to give as much as gold. She made Krishna sit in one side, the weighing scale. It's called Tulabharan. And on the other side, she put all the gold, ornaments, jewels, and everything. And then what happened is this vein was not even coming even to a little bit. She literally emptied everything that she had and she was upset. At that time, Narad Muni said, why don't you ask Rukmini? And then she goes to Rukmini. Of course, it's her pride that's going to cut, you know. She doesn't like to talk to Rukmini or anybody else. Of course, she wants to be the greatest and the highest in everything to Lord Shri Krishna. She wants to be with him. She wants to do things for him. What wrong is that? And then the stories can be interpreted however you want it. Of course not. There are two important stories. And then she goes to him and then Rukmini says, just put a leaf of tulsi. That's all it wants. What does it mean? He says, look, when you give me that one leaf of tulsi, it's equivalent to this entire wealth that is there. I only care that faith, that love of that leaf of tulsi, which is coming with sincerity. It's not about the ego that I can give you so much, but it's that love. It's how you want to look at the same thing. So Lord Shri Krishna used that to tell her, it is the leaf of tulsi that matters to me. I don't need all this wealth. It's not that through which anyone can buy me or own me or possess me. It is that leaf. That leaf has to be given with that purity. Why is that leaf? He says, give me that much, I will accept it purity. You think Lord doesn't have wealth? Everything in this universe is his wealth alone. What can you give to the one, the master, the gardener who owns this entire garden? And you're going to pluck few flowers from him in that and offer to him. The only reason why he accepts is so that he can redeem you. And he wants to see also how much dhanat you have in you. What can you offer the Guru? That is, what can you offer the divine? Because we come with big begging bowl, no? And we want, 1 lakh salary, 1 crore salary, whatever. We can come and ask whatever we want. And then what we'll offer to him? 1 box of 1 kilo of peda. Does it even equal 1 kilo of peda or sweet something to 1 crore of salary or wealth that you're asking? Please, be mindful. Be ashamed of yourself. This is the way this human being's lust and greed is today. So what is he saying here? Whoever visits there will have all his aspirations fulfilled and his grievances redressed, although he might put these people to much test during the process. Please underline this, it's very important. The Gurus are anyways going to, redeem you from all that you have come with wanting from him. But he's not going to tell you, he's not going to grant you right then. But here, Guru Nath, Dattatreya, Narasimha Saraswati is saying, whoever visits there will have all his aspirations fulfilled and his grievances redressed, although he might put these people to much test during the process. The Guru Nath is going to definitely test you where you stand, whether you pass or fail. Anyway, your aspirations will be fulfilled at the God's appointed timing, not when you want it. He will fulfill, and whatever grievances you have, whatever troubles you have, all that will be, his grievances redressed, although he might put you to test. He is going to put you to test to see where you stand. Is there that gem, in one of the satsangs by Samarth Ramdas Maharaj, in that my Krishna Guruji was explaining, in that Samarth Ramdas Maharaj says this, the Gurus are constantly checking out people. You know why? He wants to see if that kind of a gem is there somewhere. So the pursuit of that search is always there. They are constantly in search, in the pursuit of, finding that one gem, that student who can stand their their lesson, who can stand for who they are, the divinity. They want to make another paras money before they leave on from, before they leave that body and go back into their unmanifest world. They want to, pass on that legacy. So they're always in search for this gem, no matter where they are. So they're constantly searching. So in that, sorry, Samat Ramdas Maharaj was explaining that you have to continue to search. Even you find one, that is all it matters, who can carry forward this legacy. And if you that one can influence another one, then life is made. But we are not, the real masters are not looking to build conglomerates. They are not wishing to have many followers. It is just handful of them who they want to redeem. Like my Krishna Guruji will say, I just need that one. I just want, and you know what he'll tell me? He'll say, Ande me kana raja. When everybody is blind, the man who has one eye is a king. I always say this and I laugh at him. It's so funny and it's very cute when he says this. What to do? Today, this imperfection exists because we are in the Kali Yuga, and I understand. So what can I expect from people? And if that little one person who is there, I need to make do with it. So it is very sweet how my Krishna Guruji will explain. And he'll say, I never wanted to teach you. He has always told me this, because you're very difficult. And one of my Kshatripus is anger, but it is his grace, how he has evolved me over years. And I cannot, like I said, there's no, the mala, the garland that I can wear around my neck is the garland of gratefulness and, remembering everything my Guruji has done for me. That is all I can wear. I have to adorn that. I'm adorning that every single day to feeling grateful about my life and extremely thankful. I can't thank him enough. I am eternally indebted. The garland that I wear is the eternal indebtedness towards my Krishna Guruji. There is no mother, no father on this planet earth what my Guru can do. And there is nobody who can replace my Krishna Guruji. He is the highest. That is the truth. And yes, he is going to test. It will happen. Everything happens at the God's appointed timing. And he's always there. His patience is beautiful. And the way and his methods of teaching is phenomenal. It is indescribable. You can't even comprehend adequately with words. No matter how much I try to explain, I can't still adequately explain. You have to experience in your own way. To each his own. God is to each his own. You cannot compare what I go through and nobody can compare each other. Because our journey is individual to us. And this is what you need to understand. One of the 6 enemies, jealousy and envy. You can't envy for my position. There are people who can envy my position and say, oh, who does she think, who does he think? But who are you to think that you want to call me or follow me or not follow me? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, please remember, everybody's position is perfect in their own place. It is the God's appointed tools. We are all the tools of the divine Lord Almighty. Everybody is perfect in their places. That is why we said even a blade of grass is important, and it is important and we have to respect it because there is a reason why the blade of grass exists as well. And nothing moves without the will of the divine Lord. We are all his tools alone. This is the truth you need to realize. So coming back. Okay, I need to begin with a new story, but if I begin, I don't think I'll be able to complete. Okay, let's start the story and we will continue tomorrow. There lived in the town of Mahur a Brahmin who was quite well-to-do and rich. His name was Gopinath. His wife gave birth to many children, but none of them survived. They prayed fervently to Lord Dattatreya that they may have at least one son. In response to their faith and prayers, they had a son born again, who they named as Datta, that is, after the name of Lord Dattatreya, with whose blessings he was born. The boy was very healthy and free from any ailment. The parents were very happy. When the boy was 5 years of age, his death ceremony was performed. When he was 16 years of age, he was married to a girl whose name was Savitri and who was very beautiful. The young couple were leading a very happy life. After 4 years of happy married life, the young man unfortunately fell seriously ill. The parents consulted many Vaidyas and tried various treatments, bearing a lot of expenses, but there was no improvement in his condition. In fact, it was deteriorating day by day. The young wife thought that if she could take her husband to Gangapur and pray To Sri Narasimha Saraswati, his life could be saved. She felt that was the only hope for her. She expressed the same to her parents-in-law. They did not want to stand in her way. They were very distressed and worried that the boy's condition was becoming more and more critical, all the medical treatment proving of no avail. They also felt that only divine grace, if at all anything, could save their son, and that they should let their daughter in law do whatever she felt was the best course. The young wife told her husband that she would like to take him on pilgrimage to Gangapur for Sri Narasimha Saraswati's darshan, and that would certainly restore his health. The young man, with tears in his eyes, started saying how distressed he was not for his illness but considering that he had not been able to give her any happiness and had to see her toiling all the time, looking after him and his needs. Savitri reassured her husband that she was very happy in doing service to him and was prepared to make any sacrifice so that he recovered soon from his ailment. She said that troubles do come in life as per one's karma. No one can escape it altogether. But with divine grace, it should be possible to overcome it. She said she had all hopes that Sri Narasimha Saraswati would rid him of his illness by his grace and would shower his blessings on them, comforting the parents-in-law, telling them not to worry at all and assuring that she would certainly bring her husband back to them safe and fully restored in health soon. She set out on her pilgrimage to Gangapur along with her husband. The couple, after great difficulty, reached the outskirts of Gangapur, and although the wife was very exhausted, she was highly elated that they could reach the holy precincts. She left her husband in a place nearby, asking him to rest and saying that meanwhile she would go into the town first and find out the whereabouts of Guru Nath and would come back to take him along with her for the darshan. She went into the town and was back and was told that Sri Guru Nath had gone to Sangam. She came back to the place where she left her husband for rest. Alas, the husband, because of the exhaustion of the journey, possibly accentuating his sickness, meanwhile collapsed and died. She was aghast and broken down completely with grief. Savitri was not able to withstand the situation. She started crying aloud. I have brought my husband away from his parents, telling them that Sri Narasimha Saraswati's grace, I would bring him back to them, restored fully in health. What can I do now? What can I tell them? How can I ever face them? Everything for me is dark and dismal, and there is no way out for me except death along with my husband. She was furious at Guru Nath. This is what happens. We are furious. Why should we be furious? Is it Guru Nath's fault? But please remember, what did he say? All the aspirations and grievances will be redressed. What did he say here? Whoever visits there will have all his aspirations fulfilled and his grievances redressed. Although he might put these people to much test during the process. You have belied all my hopes. All my faith in you has been misplaced. You have cheated me. Before I end my life, I will tell everybody and proclaim to all how you betrayed me and my hopes. I fancied that you are Mangal Murthy. Instead, you have proved to be the very opposite. You are heartless. After giving vent to her wrath against Guru Nath, she fell on the body of her husband and burst into sobs again. Oh, my beloved, why have you left me? Didn't you know how much I loved you? You were my dearest to me. How can I live a moment without you? Meanwhile, the people nearby, seeing the sad event, gathered around her and were trying to console her. At this juncture, Sri Guru Nath himself, in the guise of a tapasvi with rudraksha malas around his neck and his whole body smeared with vibhuti and holding a trishula in his hand, appeared there. He also started comforting and consoling her. He told her, who can escape the prarabdha karma? Death is inevitable for whoever is born. Some die early and some die later, but none can escape death. What a delusion is life! How deluding are all family relationships, wife and husband, father and children, it is all Maya. A scene for a while. Two logs of wood floating separately in a stream come close to one another and float together for a while, and again drift apart and float again separately, each going its own way. There is no permanent relationship at all between any two persons. Each one has or his own destiny to suffer, each according to his or her karma of his or her past lives. In life, the only certainty is death. And of what avail is bemoaning the inevitable and inescapable? We have to accept things as they come and reconcile ourselves to the inevitable. Yet at the same time, we should not forget the higher purpose of life and the ultimate goal, and should strive to attain it irrespective of whatever calamities befall on us. Oh my God, this is a very, very, very important lesson. What Guru Nath is teaching here in the guise of a sannyasi. Let me continue this chapter from this half of the rest of the half, and we will finish it tomorrow. So I will stop here. I think this chapter is almost over, but I'm going to reread this tomorrow and give the explanation what Guru Nath is telling here. It is extremely important for us to understand. So with this, we end the chapter here. Glory to the all-merciful, the omnipresent and the ever-responsive Guru Nath. And let me continue with the explanations tomorrow. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Wishing you all a very happy Wednesday. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanatha, Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.